Alright, good morning. So today's going to be fun-filled, to say the least. So we left off, we put this back together. So yesterday I started recording and I said shit on it. So this one is currently not running. So the metering valve, the volume valve that I bought is not the right volume valve. It doesn't keep up with the truck. So I got the Ford reman pump. Now granted, if you know anything about the reman pumps nowadays, they don't really put new sensors on them unless they have to. So if they bench test good, which doesn't mean that they do good in the truck, but if they bench test good, they put them on the pump, they send the pump out the door, reman, right? So the pump's overhauled. They do rebuild the internal of the pump, reseal it and everything, which is just good. So the problem is that we're having, so I got the reman pump in, I put a new fuel pressure regulator on it, which I know, pretty sure is the right one. It's the same part number as what I've used before. They are, again, hard to find. And I put a metering valve on it, which is from Simmons, but it's not the exact right one. So put it all together, fired the truck up, has long starts, throws a low rail pressure code. You take it down the road and beat on it. And when it's demanding, 23,000 pounds of rail pressure, it's only given about 19 is the most I could get out of it. Obviously, it's falling short. So I was like, okay, well, I'm pretty sure the pressure valve is not bad, so we'll change the volume valve out. Because the volume valve was for a 2.0 diesel. Granted, it's a 6.4, right? So I'm sure it is wrong either way, just because of the amount of fuel volume difference. Obviously, a 6.4 liter, which we all know these trucks are very fuel heavy anyway, it's going to drink some fuel, and it's going to burn some fuel, and a 2.0 is not going to burn anywhere near the volume that these will. It's probably really about less than a third of it, really. So I said, okay, so I pulled the pump back out, changed out the volume valve. So the volume valve that it pump came with went back on it, put it in there, then the truck would fire up and idle. Alright, that's kind of weird, So it'll idle. The second you give it throttle, the truck dies. So it's like it's not getting any fuel flow at all. So it's like, okay, that's cool. So I was like, well, maybe the pressure valve, really I thought the volume valve was probably there. So I was like, well, let's put the original pressure valve back on. So I pulled it back apart again. So now it has the sensors that it came with. Now the truck it'll barely start, so it only generates about 3,500 pounds of rail pressure, and that's it, which is obviously insufficient to what it needs. So it's quite the weird situation to be in right now, because I don't really know. I'm still on the hunt for the volume valve. I found one, but the plug's a little bit different. These are hard to find. That's the problem. That's the thing with these trucks. I think it's what's ultimately going to kill these in the long run. If we don't get manufacturers to make them correctly or make good aftermarket parts, we're going to be screwed, because getting hardware for these things is a real pain in the ass. And everything I can find is, of course, not in the United States. It's all in Europe, which is, it's whatever. So it wouldn't be so bad if I could test all these sensors and valves without having to pull half the freaking engine apart, but it is what it is. So that's what we're doing. So I've been doing some more research. Like I said, I'm still hunting down the valves. So now I'm like in a weird position. It's like, well, so I got another pump coming to be here this morning. We're going to swap them out. Probably today is what we're going to shoot for. So we got a little bit of work to do. We got body mounts to do in this truck. This truck was here just a couple weeks ago. We had an exhaust leak on it. Had some emission issues we took care of, thermostats, stuff like that. And we did all that. So today we're going to do the body mounts. They came in. We're going to do the front seal on that truck. We did that one, I don't know, 5-6 weeks ago. No, I say that 2 months ago, back in January. Pretty sure it's my fault. I butchered the seal, so I bought the seal installer from GM, which is, it is what it is. These seals are a little bit weird on these trucks to put in, especially doing it in the truck without pulling the radiator. So I bought the right tool. That should go in just fine, and we're going to put a fuel filter in it for them because, well, we like them. Yeah, this truck needs body mounts real bad. It needs a lot of other work too, but the body mounts they wanted to go ahead and do because They're bad enough to the point we might crack a radiator here for too long. So that's where we're at. Pretty aggravated about this, but so now I don't know. We get the new pump. Did we just put the new pump in it? Did we put the pressure valve that I had? 'Cause I think the pressure valve was fine. It was working just fine driving down the road. I think the metering valve, personally, I think the volume valve that was on that pump was bad. And I think that the volume valve that I bought cannot keep up. So I think the volume valve is ultimately the problem here. If I'm going to put my chips in one goal here, putting it all on black. So, again, all I got to lose in the bet is pulling this thing back apart. Which, again, completely sucks. But I've got it down now, especially with how I use anti-seize and everything. I could have this whole thing, I could have the fuel pump out of this truck in an hour and 10 minutes. From starting like this, a complete engine, to pulling it back apart. I am charging the batteries. I did work the living shit out of them yesterday, so hopefully I didn't hurt the starter or the batteries. These batteries are new. They look like they look old as shit, but they shouldn't be. They're actually, I'm trying to find them now. Should be a date on these suckers somewhere. Sticker. Oh, yep, 0225. So they're a year old now. Wow, are they really that old? Oh yeah, I guess I did buy this truck. Okay, yeah, well, that makes sense. That's when I bought it. So, golly, this stuff already had this thing a year. Holy shit. Yeah, 0225. Both of them are 0225. Okay. So that's what we're thinking. Not really too sure. So we're still gonna hunt stuff on that. I'm not giving up on these. I'm trying to. Since we have two 6.4s in the arsenal, I'm trying to get it to where we can have. I like to help keep these trucks on the road. I mean, I know people hate them. There's a lot of bad talk on them. I made a video on YouTube kind of talking about it, but they are good. They are good engines. As far as a powerhouse goes, nothing can really compete with these. If these trucks had a 6-speed transmission, they would walk all over the new 6.7 Power Strokes. Especially if, like, you know, if we would reinvent this motor now, like deleted to deleted truck, right? Not emissions, because emissions freaking sucks ass on these things, but deleted truck versus deleted truck. You take a 6.4 Power Stroke, you delip the pistons, you Cerakote them, O-ring heads and studs, just to get them right. Still keep factory turbos, get rid of emissions. You can take a brand new 6.7 Power Stroke, and even give it the benefit of the doubt, right? Beef the rods up in them, because you know the rods are weak with the cast pistons. And we put a 6-speed transmission behind this, and not even put the 10-speed in the 6.7, put a 6-speed in it. Put a 6R140 in both of them, although it is obviously impossible to do this because the bolt pattern is different. But if you were to put a 6R140 in both of them, the 6.4 Power Stroke would outperform. That's going to hurt some feelings. But it will, all day, because number one, the compound turbos, sequential turbos is what they call them, but they're compounds. These right here are a big power factor. The K16 injection pump's a big power factor. The Penzo injector is a big power factor. Now the 6.7 has the Penzo, but it has the CP4, which can't flow as much fuel. These trucks have more fuel delivery and have more air volume pushing. So it's like they double down. Yeah, in my opinion, the 6.4, if you were to put a 6-speed on this truck, it shoot. Even with the 5-speed, it does its job. But I think with the 6-speed, they would be so much better balanced. Oh my god. That's just an opinion, though. What do I know? I'm just a wrench turner. But alright, so we're gonna go put some dirty clothes on. And by dirty, I mean just some work clothes, because I don't like getting new clothes dirty, I get yelled at. And then we'll go ahead and do the body mounts on this, which will take us not long at all, as long as they don't fight too much. And then move on to that pretty girl and get the seal installed correctly. Let's get to it. Alright, so the body mounts are done on that guy. Just to kind of show y'all. I use these beach line mounts. For the money, they're about the equivalent to SFDE. To kind of show you this. That was one of the better ones. And another one. This one's practically non-existent. This one's halfway there. This one's a tenth of the way there. And that one's about a 100th. So that's just the Ford mounts. They make them out of a silicone, and they ride good, right? It took Ford once to go after. but they're just not, well, they're junk. So we're gonna start tearing this apart. It's pretty easy. What we're gonna do, we're gonna leave the, we're not gonna break open the system as far as the coolant or AC goes. We're going to pull the intake box out. We're gonna pull the intake horn out. We'll leave this on. We'll bust the shroud loose. We're gonna pull this cover off. We'll pull the this shroud out. I did modify this shroud last time we were here. There's a lip on it. You can trim up. That way you can get around the fan or the fan clutch. So we'll slide it out and we'll get the inner shroud bolts, and then we'll bust the fan loose, which should come right off. Pull all that out. We'll put our stop, our little sprocket stop on the flex plate. Keep the transmission, keep the motor from rotating. Break the bolt loose, put the puller on the harmonic balancer, pop it off, pop the seal out, get the new seal, press it in. So not too bad. That's what we're gonna do. And then this will be, and once that's back together, then we'll do this. So happy day. All right, so the body mounts is done, of course, done and gone. This one we already got it torn apart, put back together. We tore it down to see what was going on. Front seal didn't look like it was leaking, so I went ahead and pulled it anyway and put the new seal in it, because since we have the correct seal installer, it did it beautifully. Imagine that, right? So get it all back together. I cleaned everything up, so I'm gonna just drove it and let it cool down. Everything's freaking hot as hell. And we're just gonna call in here and look. I did find an oil plug on the side of the block, kind of just underneath the oil cooler on the block itself over here. Looked like it was leaking a little bit. So I'm gonna let it sit, and we're gonna look over it again and see if we can find anything leaking. I don't think the front seal was leaking at all, but you know, we changed it anyway to be safe. I also looked at the crank sensor. I thought the crank sensor might have been leaking too, but we spread everything down there. We're going to look at it. And there was nothing on the top side causing a leak, so it's a good thing. But that's where we're at though. So we're going to go ahead, while this thing sits and cools for a little bit, we're going to spend the next hour and 20 minutes. We're going to rip this back apart again for the 5th time. I got another Motorcraft pump here. This guy. The good thing this box doesn't look like it's beat the shit like the last one was. I don't know if I should have showed the video of the last one. The last one looked like it was freaking, they played kickball with it. So I got that. I got the install kit. So we're gonna put this thing, tear it apart, and then hopefully it fixes it. We'll see. TBD. All right, so I think I found another oil leak on this truck, and then we got this back together, and it's running. It's running steady. Pressures look good. Much better. Hopefully it's fixed. We'll see. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll see what's going on. We'll check this out, see what's going on with this, and yeah. Till the next one. See y'all then.